part of the ZBM TV9 News Team. You're watching ZBM TV9 Bermuda.
You can count on us.
Marketplace 90% lean ground from round beef, only $3.99 per pound. Save 50% off extra large slicing tomatoes, just $2.49 per pound. For a quick meal, Healthy Choice soups, only $2.79 for a 15-ounce tin. For a healthy snack, Yoplait yogurt, just $1.09 for a 6-ounce tub. Heinz Easy Squeeze ketchup, only $3.29 for a 20-ounce bottle. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more weekly specials.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, February 28th, 2017. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Before we get started, we at the Bermuda Broadcasting Company would like to apologize to our viewers and sponsors for missing you last night. Unfortunately, due to an unforeseen technical issue, we could not bring you the news as we normally do, but we're happy to be back on the air tonight. So let's roll. Topping our news, he is the fourth Minister of Education to be appointed under the One Bermuda Alliance administration. But Cole Simons does not see this as an indictment against the government and says he intends to do what is best for public school students as long as he is in charge of the Ministry of Education. Gary Moreno tells us more.
It's often considered to be the poisoned chalice of ministerial appointments, but the newly named Minister of Education says he is undeterred by the challenge of his new portfolio and sees his background in business as preparing him well for the task which lies ahead.
I bring 20 years of experience in politics. And learning from politics, the lessons is you take one step at a time, be positive. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I think with my experience in business, I'm able to bring that acumen and that discipline to the ministry and bring some business acumen as well.
His immediate predecessor, Wayne Scott, had, just before resigning as minister, spoken extensively about rebuilding the public elementary and middle school infrastructure. However, Mr. Simons is not certain as to how or if that will take place, as he outlines where his focus lies.
At this point, I have not been briefed on all those details. I will not rule it out, but as I said, I have to dig deeper to see what that's all about, and then I'll be happy to come back here with my recommendations. But going forward, for me, my primary role is provide positive leadership in the delivery of education and ensuring that all young Bermudians, irrespective of their learning styles, have the best opportunity to succeed.
That said, what then does he see as the most pressing issue in public education? Well, his answer may come as something of a surprise.
The politics of it all, and I think we all forget that our young people are listening and they want what's best for them. What are you doing for me? How are you going to make me realize my full potential? And bickering amongst ourselves does not help any child in that endeavor.
Now, as we mentioned, Mr. Simons is the fourth Minister of Education appointed since 2012, following on from Nalton Brangman, Dr. Grant Gibbons, and most recently Wayne Scott. So how long does he see himself remaining in the post?
As long as I can.
Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Police are looking into an accident that saw a 4-year-old boy struck by a truck. It happened around 5:15 p.m. on Monday afternoon in Sands on Seawall Drive. The boy had been riding his bicycle in the area when the truck struck him as it was heading along Seawall Drive. The truck driver, neighbors, and the child's mother immediately came to the young boy's aid until EMTs arrived on the scene a short time later. The injured boy was then transported by ambulance to hospital for treatment of a head wound. And at last check, he was in stable condition in the intensive care unit. Any witnesses that have not yet come forward should contact the police at 295-0011. In other news tonight, there are numerous benefits to reducing the cost of the island's civil service. That line taken by investment manager Nathan Kowalski, a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Speaking during the recent budget breakfast at Pier 6, Mr. Kowalski argued that reducing the size of the civil service would result in lower taxes and result in the private sector having more money to hire.
When we reduce the cost of employing people in the public sector and in turn the cost of government overall, we can lower the tax burden on the private sector taxpayer, which will have more money to spend and possibly subsequently hire. While we're increasing the supply of workers, we also may be simultaneously increasing the demand for workers, or at least the ability to pay for them. Reducing the cost of government, at the very least, lets the private sector have options with its higher share of the earnings. So plans to increase revenues by $161 million or 16% over the next 3 years, and at the same time cutting current account spending by a mere $22 million or 2%, almost assures us a continued sacrifice will be borne predominantly by the private sector.
However, the Minister of Finance, Bob Richards, who was also on the panel, did not agree.
Insofar as the cost is concerned, and that the cost of our expenses have gone up, they've only gone up by, I think it's 1.9 million, in spite of the fact that we're spending $38 million on America's Cup. Take that out, and you'll see that we're really doing a good job of cutting down government expenses. Right? Take out America's Cup's a one-off. Okay? In addition to spending, I don't know how many more millions we spent in this current year that we're still in the next year we're going to be spending $38 million on America's Cup. And I think that's money well spent. But, the next year, that 38's not going to be there. Insofar as the level of staff are concerned, first of all, let me reflect on what Nathan said. Because we haven't laid off anybody, we haven't caused an army of people to leave government and not being able to find jobs in the private sector. That just isn't true, right? What's happened is that a lot of people have either retired or taken advantage of the early retirement system that we put in. But we've also discovered that a lot of people, and I don't know what the number is, but a lot of people who've been civil servants just have left the government to take private sector jobs. So the private sector, you all in the private sector, you have been hiring people away from government. These are facts.
Stay with us. More news in tonight's AccuWeather forecast after the break.
Price Rate is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce, and an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world, and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Right at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone. Open 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. on Sundays.
Welcome back. A return to the post of Junior Minister of Education will see a different MP, Leah Scott, in terms of how she relates to her OBA colleagues in the lower house. Ms. Scott telling Gary Moreno she will, however, continue to address issues in a forthright manner as she seeks to play a greater role in the reform of public education.
Well, I have a different minister that I'm working with, so his mandate may be a little different in terms of my supporting him. But at the end of the day, what I want to do is what's going to be best for the children of the schools and best for the teachers. I want to be more visible. I want to be more engaged with the children and with the teachers and working for a better Bermuda.
You alluded to something when you made your address following the announcement as a junior minister that things may not have always been smooth in terms of your relationship with your fellow MPs. How do you see the criticism that you've made in the past impacting this your new position at all, if any?
I don't think it has impacted my new position. I mean, if it had, then I wouldn't be in this position. But I will continue to be honest with my ministers and the government about things that concern me, and I will not be as vocal about them and hope that we can work out a solution within the room. But I continue to work for the people of Bermuda, and I will continue to be honest about things that we do that I don't agree with.
In other news tonight, the rebirth of St. George is rapidly gaining momentum thanks to a caring government, so says MP Kenneth Bascom, who describes the ongoing refurbishing of Penno's Wharf as critical to the economic survival of the East End. Gary Moreno caught up with Mr. Bascom to get a first-hand look at the refurbishment works.
According to Area MP Kenneth Bascom, these docks have been in a state of disrepair for almost 14 years, a situation which he blames on a lack of funding from the former PLP government. He offers that it is the current dispensation of which he is a member which recognized the importance of the former capital and allowed for the commencement of the long-awaited repair work 6 weeks ago, with more than $1 million in funding, which he feels will breathe new life into the former capital.
This actually was damaged on the 5th of September 2003 when Hurricane Fabian came through, and it's just been allowed to linger. This is the beginning of the renaissance of the town of St. George with the aid and the assistance of the One Bermuda Alliance, who has granted the corporation $1.4 million to do the refurbishment that has taken place.
Mr. Bascom, a former mayor of the old town, denying this has anything to do with the much-anticipated next general election, but is all part of efforts to facilitate the return of cruise ships to St. George's in keeping with an agreement between government and Norwegian Cruise Lines, an agreement which involves 12 extra cruise ship calls to the East End between this year and 2022. That agreement will also see 2 catamaran ferries providing services between St. George's and Dockyard. Mr. Bascom already envisaging what that means for area businesses.
With the advent of the cruise ship arriving, I believe that will be an injection for the economic well-being of the community of St. George. They'll each be bringing 750 passengers each time. The 2 ferries that are being constructed carry 250 people, and I am under the belief that the Millennium will be coming back, and she carries something like 450 people. I would say in every 2 hours you will have something like, let's say, 700 passengers coming to St. George.
All that notwithstanding, Mr. Bascom is also hopeful of bigger things for the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Town Car Channel, in my opinion, still needs to have modifications so that we would be able to get a larger ship, 2,500 passengers.
Meantime, the $2 million refurbishment of Penrose Wharf and its surroundings is being carried out by Christens. Mr. Bascom confident it will be completed on time and on budget. Now, the work also includes the refurbishment of what will be the new cruise ship terminal here in St. George's. The aim being to have it all completed within the first 2 weeks of April, when the first cruise visits arrive. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Ashe, Bermudian History Stories for Children is a new book being distributed around the community which tells the true story of Black history before slavery and beyond. Jasmine Patterson tells us more.
Author, poet, and educator Melody Van Putten has worked 7 years to collate the history of ancient African civilizations and the stories that link to Bermudian heritage with Ashe, a book illustrated by Bermudian art educator Angela Ming Bean.
If the only thing you think of yourself as being the descendant of enslaved people, your view of yourself and others is decidedly different than if you know that your people literally created the foundations for civilization. And so, I often say that self-esteem is not a pill that you take. Self-esteem is based on knowledge of oneself. And so all young people need to know this. So in terms of benefit, how it benefits the Black community directly is that you have young people who have a sense of themselves, a sense of their ability to accomplish things that they have within themselves, everything that they need to make a positive contribution. As it relates to the white community, it is a place to start the conversation around respect.
Mrs. Jason Munez, chair of the Wesley Methodist Stewardship Committee, financed the book in an effort to raise education standards in the community.
How many teachers within the government school system do you know that actually have their own children in the government school system as students? I know of 2. So the playing field educationally certainly is far from level, and that's a big concern to myself and to my fellow members at Wesley Methodist Church, and that's kind of why we got behind the effort of seeing this book distributed throughout the community. This knowledge is powerful and it's desperately needed, and we thought it was important to share the greatness of African culture and the greatness of African history so that children and people of all generations can stand on that firmly.
Books have been presented to the Family Center, Westgate, Pride Bermuda, Mirrors, and other youth services, which Ms. Van Putten feels serves to empower its readers.
From our community's point of view, and having been here now pushing 20 years, not quite yet, but it is needed. I don't think that our young people would be involved in the antisocial behaviors that they're involved in if they had a deeper, stronger, grounded sense of themselves.
A Shay is available for purchase at Brown & Co., or you can contact Ms. Van Putten for a copy at 296-8137.
Turning to weather news, a mix of sun and cloud, a beautiful day for our Wednesday. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
Tonight's forecast is brought to you by the BF&M Insurance Group. I'm AccuWeather's Shanae Shocker. Well, not too much going on across Bermuda. As we take a look at our satellite and radar, we do see a cold front that has passed off towards our south and our east. So showers earlier, but heading throughout the next couple of days, larger area of high pressure in control for us. So that is going to mean beautiful weather and boating conditions into our Wednesday and also half of our Thursday as well. We take a look what's going on right now. Our highs in those mid-to-upper 60s, or our current temperatures actually. Our humidity right around 66%. Our winds are fairly light out of the northeast, 8 to 12 knots. And as far as the waves are concerned, pretty mild out there as well. Now moving into tonight, could see a passing evening shower, but otherwise not too much going on. We're really going to start to die down, and that means tomorrow is going to be a beautiful day. We'll have a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Our high back in those lower 70s here for us. So beautiful weather there. As far as our tidal conditions are concerned, we are looking at our high tide tonight right around 10 o'clock, and then we'll have a low tide just after 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. These should be pretty standard high and low tides, as we are not seeing any extra weather or systems passing through the region. As far as our gateway forecast is concerned, well, it looks wet across the board. We have a stronger storm system pushing into the northeast of the U.S. That's bringing not only showers, but also some chances of thunderstorms, and the cold front associated with that bringing some severe weather as well around the Atlanta area. Now that is going to be our next storm system that passes over Bermuda, and that comes on our Thursday afternoon. As far as the Caribbean is concerned, we have a moderately stronger trade winds across the board here, so we're seeing some brief passing showers, a little bit more than what we're used to. All right, a look at our extended forecast going to show us into our Thursday. Morning should not be too bad, but as we head into the afternoon, things are going to start to change as well. We have the approach of another cold front, and that's really going to stick with us in through Friday. We're cooling off to 68 degrees for our high on Friday, having some gusty winds as well as some heavier downpours of rain, and we can't rule out the chance of a thunderstorm either. Heading into our Saturday morning, well, we're going to cool off quite a bit for the weekend. Can't completely get rid of that brief passing shower, but overall partly cloudy conditions and much cooler as well. We'll hang on to some of the wind as well, dropping our real feel temperatures just a touch cooler than our actual ones. Make sure to stay up to date with all your weather news and updates by tuning into your local radio stations, Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
And you're watching the Tuesday edition of News 9. Coming up in sports, football officials clarify rules surrounding players wearing ankle bracelets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Introducing Create, your style, your way. We at Big Savings Zone understand that you are unique and your style is personal. We know that your home is a reflection of who you are, and that's why you should create it your way. First, choose your style. Second, choose your color. Third, choose your accent pillows. With these 3 simple steps, you can now design your perfect living room. You are one of a kind, and so is your home. So create your style, your way. Exclusively available at Big Savings Zone, Southside, St. David's.
With a royal visit this weekend to honor a half-century of the Duke of Edinburgh's award in Bermuda, we hear from someone who was there at the very beginning. Gary Foster Skelton reports.
This is how we do it.
Rain or shine.
This is how we do it.
Does it have to rain more today?
A little hydration from the heavens wasn't going to stop those Duke of Edinburgh award chasers from completing their task.
This is how we do it.
And since they were unable to camp on one of our islands due to the weather at the weekend, Salter students participating in the Bronze Awards simply hunkered down on the school field. There was no way the students were going to miss the last expedition before this weekend's royal visit, when Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, will be on island as we celebrate 50 years of the Duke of Edinburgh's award in Bermuda. As we hung out with participants on the windy Salters Field, former Premier Sir John Swan joined us to tell us about the local history of the award. The Duke of Edinburgh Award came to Bermuda in 1967. How did it come to be here?
Well, we had a chap by the name of Alan Brown, who was very active in the what was called the JCs. JCs was Junior Chamber. And we did programs and projects that would allow us to participate in activity that would enhance our development and also be of service to the community. Initially, it was an all-male program, but it very quickly became a general program out of the school system itself. It still remained at that time a rather segregated Bermuda. You had schools that were fundamentally separated. You had sports basically somewhat separated. But the Duke of Edinburgh program embraced everybody. It said, if you are prepared to make the commitment, do well in school, and commit yourself to your fellow man in participation of the Duke of Edinburgh's very clearly laid out scheme, you could go through these various stages and would help your development.
Two of the young men working their way through the stages of the award and all the challenges it brings are Oscar Woodward and Evan Elliott. What have you been doing? What will you be doing?
We've been walking all day today, and then tomorrow we're going to do the same as well.
We have to overcome problems as we go along. For example, today our tent was broken, so we had to improvise a way to make the poles work again.
What about food?
Well, today we're having ramen noodles. We have this small little gas stove that folds out. Attach it to the gas like this.
Volunteers are the lifeblood of the award.
I have 2 children, and I always wanted them to be a part of the program because I wasn't able to do it.
Donations keep the award alive, and you can help by supporting various events during this weekend's royal visit. Go to theaward.bm for more.
And I think we should give the Earl of Wessex a great hurrah of support.
D&E is a great experience. I recommend.
Now turning to sports, the Bermuda Football Association addressed the issue of players wearing electronic monitoring devices. Earl Baisden has more in tonight's sports report.
Talk around the football community of Bermuda has increased with concern with the number of players wearing ankle bracelets issued by the courts. The Bermuda Football Association sought advice from FIFA, and a response has been sent to all full members of the Bermuda Football Association. In the statement sent out by the General Secretary of the Bermuda Football Association, David Sabir, it states the Executive Council has consulted FIFA and has received a response from the Technical Director of the International Football Association Board, who is the regulatory authority for the laws of the game regarding players wearing electronic monitoring devices or ankle bracelets during matches. The response states in part, the ban on electronic equipment is related to tackling, match fixing, and or unfair sporting advantages. As these ankle devices are presumably required by Bermudian law, they thus do not break the spirit of Law 4 in terms of wearing electronic equipment. The Executive Council has advised match officials that wearing an electronic tracking device or ankle bracelet in itself is not contrary to the law of the game, but every effort should be made to ensure the safety of all concerned. In this regard, the referee and the match commissioner should ensure that the device is properly and securely padded as to not cause harm to the player himself or any opponents, but they must not take a decision to deny the player from participating in the match because he is wearing an ankle bracelet. Nicky Bascom improved to 6-0 on Saturday night inside the Fairmont Southampton Princess after he won by unanimous decision over Iwan Azor from Trinidad. Bascom slowed his opponent down in the second round with some measured body shots, something Bascom was pleased with.
Definitely. That's part of my style, you know. I just try to be patient and look for my openings.
And like I said before, I spar with southpaws all the time, so I have an idea how to fight them. And I want to thank my sparring partners, Tyler, Christopher, and Andre Lim, because they're both southpaws and they're up-and-coming fighters, and they pushed me through this camp.
Meanwhile, the night got underway with Campbell Patton from Canada moving to 3 wins, 2 losses, and 3 draws after he defeated Bermuda San Charles Association fighter Samir Pakwan by unanimous decision. Krista Dyer was also out of the Bermuda San Charles Association. She defeated Ashley Cafu from Canada by unanimous decision. Matthew Tannock, fighting out of the 40 Rigo gym, recorded a technical knockout 1 minute and 49 seconds in the second round, defeating Cyril Witter from the BSA JCB School of Art. Antonio Parentchief out of the Controversy gym defeated Mark Pryor from the Bermuda San Charles Association in his first fight on unanimous decision in what was voted the fight of the night. Courtney Dublin out of the Police Gym picked up a majority decision victory over Jalen Robert fighting out of the 40 Rigo gym. Tyler Christopher fighting out of the 40 Rigo gym defeated Gilbert Vargas from Baltimore by unanimous decision, and DeAndre Morris fighting out of the Bermuda Karate Institute defeated Othniel Gordon from Canada by unanimous decision. Robin Hood are the new Premier Division League leaders following their 1-0 win over previous league leaders PHC Zebras on Saturday night at the BAA Field. In other Premier Division matches over the weekend, it was the Boulevard Blazers 2, Somerset Trojans 2, Flanagan's Onions 1, Somerset Eagles 1, Devonshire Cougars 2, Devonshire Colts 1. So the Premier Division standings read as follows. Robin Hood are on top with 35 points. PHC have 34. Norfolk Rams have 32 with the Devonshire Cougars on 25. Somerset Trojans on 21. Boulevard Blazers on 19. The Dandytown Hornets and Somerset Eagles both have 12 points. While Flanagan's Onions have 10 and Devonshire Colts have 4 points. Crossroads, with a 1-0 win over St. David's, created history for the club by clinching a promotion spot, while Young Man Social Club ended a 30-year top-flight drought with a 1-0 win over Wolves. Both Young Man Social Club and Crossroads have advanced to the Premier Division for the 2017-18 league season. Currently, the First Division standings are as follows. Young Man Social Club lead with 39 points. Crossroads have 37. St. George's Colts and St. David's both have 24 points. BAA and Patrick both have 19. Southampton Rangers have 18. Wolves have 14. Hamilton Parish has 9, and Island Rangers have 4 points. Fraser Hunt and Tarika Wallacram were crowned the 2017 Bermuda Par 3 National Male and Female Champions at the Turtle Hill Golf Course yesterday. Hunt is hoping this win in the National Championships brings him to a good performance in the World Par 3 Championships in March.
It's a great event, what they've been doing here at Fairmont the last few years. I always enjoy getting out here. We're playing more. I played more at Fairmont this year than ever. They do a great job here, just keep the course in great nick. And Paul and his team here just do a great job. So I'm looking forward to when that rolls around to hopefully still be hitting it well and give the big boys a run for their money.
The Bermuda Dressage Group hosted the 2017 Caribbean Equestrian Association's dressage competition at the National Equestrian Center on Vesey Street yesterday. The Caribbean Equestrian Association's dressage competition was staged a day late after torrential rain and high winds resulted in the event being cancelled on Saturday. Casey Truin and Della Vega received a score of 66.324% in the first level Test 3 class, while Christian Truin and Rosalind were first competing in the training level Test 3 with a score of 69.774%. SoftBank Team Japan became the latest team to unveil their 35th America's Cup boat in Bermuda.
Me and SoftBank Team Japan choose a name. The naming is...
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Red Ripe Florida strawberries, just $3.99 for a 1-pound package. Save $1.80 per pound on Purdue Fresh Value Pack chicken thighs, only $1.89 per pound. Ajax 2X regular or with bleach laundry detergent, just $5.69 for a 50-ounce bottle. Select varieties of Series 100% juice, only $2.79 for a 1-liter box. Bluebonnet margarine sticks, $1.79 for a 1-pound package. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m., Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for sharing your Tuesday evening with us. Everyone, have a wonderful evening. Good night.
You're watching ZBM TV 9, Bermuda.